The big news for today for Giants fans: the Giants signed Jevon Holland, a guy that we talked about going into free agency here as one of the bigger names of free agency overall. It's probably the biggest name, pure safety in this free agency class. Now there's guys who could potentially play safety that are like older corners, and there some bigger names there, obviously. But Holland has been a legit safety for the Dolphins now for some years. 25 years old still, so still very young. It's funny when you look at some of these free agents nowadays when they're 25 years old, and you're like, oh, he's playing the league 4 or 5 years now, and it's like, it wasn't the last couple of years. You've gotten guys that literally come out of college into the draft that are 23, 24 years old. So, got a good number of years of experience already. 15 games last year, 62 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 QB hits, 4 passes deflected, and a forced fumble. PFF grade wise, 63 PFF grade overall, 62.5 pass rush grade, 73.4 run defense grade, and a 57.1 coverage grade. Now, the deal overall, guys, 3 years, $45.3 million, $30.3 million is guaranteed on the deal as well, which is a huge downfall from where they expected him to be coming into free agency. A lot of people expected him to get about a $20 million contract. And instead, you get him for, just barely over 15 million. And the injuries is part of it there. And this is one of the things that I hate to kind of beat this dead horse. We talked about that, a little bit yesterday. We're getting guys that have had some injuries in the last couple of years. But again, this is free agency. If they were perfect players, they'd be franchise tagged. They'd be re-signed. Nobody would ever let them go. This guy is a legit talent in the league here. PFSN said Jevon Holland is coming off a down year in 2024, as it was his first season without an interception. He also tied his career low of 4 passes defended. However, Holland's coverage numbers have remained strong over the last 2 seasons, allowing 7.6 yards per target in 23 and 6.7 in 24. Injuries have become the primary concern for Holland, who has missed 7 games over the last 2 seasons. He missed 2 games last year with a hand injury and 5 games in 23 after suffering sprained MCLs in both knees. Now, we talked about him initially going into free agency. We did have a Dolphin fan in the chat, so I'll just give you guys their opinion. Just as somebody who was watching the games there and said to us point blank, really talented guy. Just hasn't been quite the same since he came back from those knee injuries. And not that he lost the step or anything like that, more was making business decisions. So be curious to see what happens with him now, see if we see the old Holland, because Holland was, and I mean, you still make the case, still is one of the better young safeties in this league. And I gotta say, I'm kind of intrigued by this move overall because of the fact that we let Xavier McKinney go. We let Xavier McKinney go and basically sign a guy now to a similar contract. And it has to make you wonder, was the issues with Xavier McKinney his play, or was it maybe the fact that there were some issues with him personality-wise? Those of you guys who still follow him on social media, I do. You see things like, him talking trash today, even ironically enough. Oh, you haven't seen the best yet. Blah, blah, blah. More's coming. Like, there's been issues with him and Wink Martindale, obviously, when he was here. There was a couple other issues that there was rumors about that I don't want to see too much on because there was rumors. I don't have anything to back it up on, but I heard some other things as well through the grapevine. Maybe that was why they really didn't re-sign Xavier McKinney. Because remember, Xavier McKinney, by all reports, went back to the Giants and said point blank, will you match this offer that the Packers are giving me? And he said no. They said no, I should say. So again, it makes you wonder. I mean, you got the ATV incident, obviously, as well. So now we have somebody who literally is basically his replacement coming in, just about $1 million less than what McKinney was getting paid by the Packers now. And a guy that's, like I said, a good young talent, guys. And I mentioned in the write-up that PFSN gave, didn't have a single interception this year, but has had 1 or 2 basically for the prior years there. So while he's not an interception machine, he is definitely a guy who does typically get a couple interceptions during the year. The big thing for him has been more the the past deflections. He's had 10 his rookie year, 7 his second year, and now 4 each of the last 2 years. Keep in mind 4 in 23 though in just 12 games. So not a bad coverage guy. Had a really good, run stopping grade there last year. I think that this is one of those scenarios that you got a guy who's a good player, has the potential to be an elite safety, has the potential to be an above average safety. And which side of the coin he ends up on, obviously, is going to determine whether or not this contract is good in the long term. But considering the fact that it's only a guaranteed, money really for 2 years in this whole thing, you're saying $30 million, $30.3 million guaranteed. That's not a bad deal, guys. I'm fine with that. I am absolutely fine with this deal here. I think this is a good move for the Giants overall. I think this is a move that you look at what you're getting there, and you're getting a young, talented safety who's literally entering the prime of his career. We're going to have him for years, 25, 26, 27. That's literally the prime of his careers. I like the move. I got to separate the fact that I'm a little concerned with what's going on offensively right now and look at it that way and say, I really do like the move overall.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.